Welcome back, everybody. We're going to learn using hardware to secure the network, but we're going to learn concepts on how to do that. And we're going to learn it via this particular drawing right here. We're not going to configure, you're not going to configure in your CSense a firewall. You will be configuring access lists, which we'll go over later, but you're not going to be configuring a firewall. Okay? Now, one thing you need to understand is being a system administrator or an information security administrator or chief of security for IT, or you're just the only IT individual in the company wearing many hats, right? One of your main responsibilities is to make what? Is to make sure that your network resources are secure. How do we do this? With a myriad of different layers of security. Do not think that this is the only way of doing it. One of the first tools that you should be aware of is access lists, which we'll definitely get later in the section. You could also disable and configure network devices. You can also segment your network using VLANs and, of course, use firewalls, right? Now, this is a common design that you see here behind me, right, for large enterprise networks, where you use a perimeter router, a firewall, an internal network. Okay, so you use these things to filter, like this perimeter router right here will filter out traffic. Then the router is connected to our firewall, which you will create additional policies to block unwanted traffic, but also block users from accessing public sites. So it's just not coming in, it's also going out, all right, because that may contain potential dangers. As you can see in the drawing, okay, we have internal and external devices, all right? These could also be called trusted and untrusted networks. Let me stop here and let me show you what I mean. This right here, all right, this email server, that's connected to the firewall, could be called untrusted network. It all depends on how you configure a firewall and the type of firewall that you're using. Like I said, you have an email server here, okay, that has a public address, and you will connect it to the untrusted portion of the firewall. You could also find here DNS servers, web servers, and any other type of internet corporate servers on there. Now, disabling network services is another method of protecting your network. You could also do it through the use of ACLs, or you can use a domain controller. We know this, right? Using group policies. Main practices that you would use, right, is blocking, like, let's say, SNMP packets. You can disable echo. You can turn off BootP, auto configuration. You can disable HTTP, right? Any interface disabling the IP source or disabling proxy ARP. And believe me, there's a list that continues that point. The point is that all networks must take action to secure the network as much as they can. And in this particular case right here, all right, here's your public internet. Here's your perimeter router that's going to filter out whatever traffic based on whatever access list or security protocols you have configured on there. Then it's going to go through your firewall. Then your firewall, you're going to create policies, you're going to close down port numbers, whatever the case may be. It's going to filter out traffic there as well. And your email server, believe it or not, that's why a lot of companies put it in front of their internal network, because emails will also filter out traffic. Email servers, that is. And then you have your internal network where there as well you have, you can create access lists there as well. And then you have your switch. You can create layer 2. You can create access lists in switches as well. And you can also VLAN so we can not get to every network. So there's a bunch of different things. Security is not just this right here. There's, use different types of equipment. Not in the sense of, well, I have many firewalls in my company, I'm going to use the same type of firewall, where it makes it easy on the administrator. But then if somebody by social engineering says, hey man, I'm using this type of firewall, what are you using? Oh, I'm using the same. Oh, cool, man. It's worked out good for you? Yeah, okay, it's worked out good for me too. Thanks, I appreciate that. Now you just gave away the information. That's how things happen. So not only do you need to watch the type of hardware and how you set things up to filter the traffic that's coming to your internal, but you need to filter traffic coming to the external, and you need to filter your employees. Okay, there's something called acceptable use policies. There's meetings you need to have. You can't talk about the type of things that are inside your company. All confidentiality agreements. All these different things you need to take steps to secure your network. Not to mention the fact that all this equipment should not be near the receptionist desk, right? All this equipment needs to be locked behind closed doors. All right, so definitely this is a very common setup, all right, that companies use. I can tell you right now, in one of the schools that I worked at, we had 2 physical racks. Each rack had their own firewall, which was connected to a router, okay? And then the firewall went to the switch, and it was just like this, but it was 2 separate racks separating the student side from the actual people that worked there, okay? From the administration side. So they had 2 physical. So if the students would get funny, and there was no routing in between, so if the students would get funny and try to hack into it, they couldn't. They couldn't because they were physically segmented. There was no connection in between. Okay, so there's a lot of ways. By no means is this certification going to make you a security expert, but you need to understand the concepts of what needs to happen. Yes, you will learn how to create access lists, but that's not all the things that you need to learn, okay, as far as securing your network. There is much, much more. That's why there is security certifications out there that if that's your route you're going to take, that's where you should go, okay, because that's what you need to learn. There's a whole different world out there when it comes to security. But anyway, this is just to understand a concept that if you are going to try and secure your network, access lists being one, network services, VLANs, having routers on either side of a firewall, using an email server also can help you, like I said, plus software that you install to, like Malwarebytes and all these different things that exist out there that you can use to monitor your network for bad traffic. Okay. All right. So this is what they mean by perimeter firewall and internal routers. Perimeter firewall and internal routers. Okay. I will see you in the next.